מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם מלאכי השורש מלאכי.
Since the original sin, humanity is all perfectly aware that it lost its life when leaving the Garden of Eden. Even atheists can realize with their eyes that death is ruling absolutely everywhere, down to the smallest details of the created world. Since the Lord has expelled Adam and Eve into the visible world that we can see around us, all the efforts of humanity are converging on a specific point, which is overcoming death. This is confirmed to us by the statement of the Lord himself when he says, "And the Lord said, the man who now become like one of us, knowing good and evil, he must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever." So the Lord banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken. Genesis 3:22-23. The main goal of humanity is thus the annihilation of death, or at least the delay of its coming. In the meantime, man is trying to make his life sweeter, more pleasant, more lively. To achieve this, he invents all sorts of methods. He replaces work with amusement, music, drugs, the satisfaction of his physical and carnal desires, feasts and orgies. In short, we can say that what governs the world is the quest for the well-being of the body and the soul, for longevity, together for the reconquest of eternal life. In a word, the most inherent characteristic of mankind is the pursuit of its own redemption. Our life on earth is nothing more than a state of death in which man has exiled himself by his own fault. For his part, the Lord has shown unimaginable clemency. Instead of immediately executing the judgment that man deserved, namely the sentence of true and final death, instead he offered us an opportunity to redeem ourselves. It is not our own task to do so, but he redeems us by his own sacrifice. The Almighty has given us the exile of the Garden of Eden in this mixed state that we call life on earth. This state between life and physical death includes the possibility of recovering the salvation of our spirit by accepting the only possible path to eternal life, to the lost Eden, and even more, through the grace of Christ. What some Christian denominations call the purgatory is nothing else than our earthly life today. It is this great return that the Lord offers us when he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Most people, on the other hand, accuse the Lord of having shown incredible cruelty for having inflicted such a severe sentence on all humanity for a single bite of apple. They cannot understand the reason why Yahweh allows so much suffering, injustice, and crime. These questions rise up sooner or later in the consciousness of all, whether they are believers or not. However, we forget one thing. The fault committed by the first man deserved immediate death, instant and definitive annihilation. The fact that the Lord granted us a certain delay before the execution of the sentence seems so natural to us that we have long since forgotten that we absolutely do not deserve it. This divine grace that is still in force today, we consider it as it was due to us. Although the breath of death is still well perceivable, the death's existence is often not regarded as the consequence of our sin, but as the severity of the Lord. Thus, the majority of men turn away from him and pursue their own path in order to defeat their destiny. For this purpose, Mankind is continually seeking for pleasures, hedonism, lust, libertinism. Medicine and various cures also seem to be the most appropriate tools to reach their objectives. As the word of Yahweh reveals man's individual responsibility for his mortal state, the most common reaction is rebellion. Instead of accepting judgment and ask for grace, people rather choose a gentler and easier way to revitalize and make themselves happy. They choose the glory and the provisional and ephemeral redemption offered by the silver and the gold, of which their idols are clothed, instead of the power of the redemption of Christ. Man makes the Almighty responsible for the loss of his eternal life. He turns away from the Lord with anger and bitterness to turn to human solutions. This man who invents innumerable schemes and whose degree of progress had almost reached its peak, the highest number that man can reach, which is the number of men and which is deeply incomplete. We can observe similarities in the father-child relationship. Remembering our childhood, how many times have we rebelled against the will of our physical father and transgressed his commands, causing a lot of damage around us? When our father rebuked us, weren't we angry against him instead of assuming our responsibilities and recognizing our faults? Have we not blamed him for being too harsh, forgetting that we would have deserved a good spanking or other punishment that we did not always receive? We have often escaped punishment for a variety of reasons. It's usually much later that we realize that our Father was right and that we should have been grateful to him for being so kind to us. Our childhood's memories can be of a great help in making the right decisions while we are still alive. For example, the question of what solution do we adopt to recover our lost life? The human solution that ends in death, or the solution of Christ that leads to eternal life?
מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך